You're listening to Community Radio, CKMS, Radio Waterloo, 102.7, 946 on the Rogers Digital Network. You can find us.
Good morning, Waterloo Region. It is Monday, the 16th of March. Happy St. Urho Day to you, the day when we celebrate St. Urho driving the grasshoppers out of Finland by the wearing of the green and the purple. In the studio today, we have Jake Feeney. Jake Feeney is artist from Toronto. He'll be joining us for a live on-air in-studio performance. Hit the notes there, Jake.
Love is safe in my soul. Keep it in a cup half full, and I pour it down your drain. You never overflow, no. And it feels like I'm in driving rain. Oh, with no headlights, only sounds and shapes. Those eyes put me in this space. Once again, we fly low. We fly low. My urgency, listen, it's all ever they said as they help to breathe. Sent me out to give it all up again. Then another view took a plan that I knew, so I float on, spinning. And maybe she'll see. Pass me time and time again, and she don't even know when will it reveal itself. She's miles ahead, yeah, she's miles ahead. There goes your sympathy, didn't take too long. Quick to draw, fears come to life in long nights. Prove that I'm on my own. Yes, belief it can be wicked, and maybe she'll see. Just pass me time and time again, and she don't even know when will it reveal itself. She's miles ahead, yeah, she's miles ahead. Na 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 no no no, na 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 no 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 no, na 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 no 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 no, na 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 no no.
Jake Feeney in the studio with CKMS Community Connections. Welcome to the studio, Jake.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
That's great. Where'd you come from?
I came from Toronto this morning and when I was born. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I've always lived in Toronto, West End.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And coming musically, been traveling to play your music?
Yeah, I've been playing around Ontario a bit. I played the Summer Folk Music Festival a couple times. A couple years ago. Just played around the towns around Toronto. Yeah, haven't made it out of Ontario yet.
I've made it out of Ontario. Okay, yeah. So world tour coming.
Yeah, that's the next step.
Excellent. What did you just play for us? What was that?
That was called No Headlights, which is the first song that I released from my upcoming album. So it's got 10 songs. That was the first one I felt was strongest to lead with. Yeah, I've been writing that song for quite a while, as with the other ones, and just now I played it acoustically on the release. It's got a kind of a full band sound along with it, as do the other ones. So I like to play the songs acoustically live, at least for now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you write them with the idea of being able to play both acoustically and with full orchestration?
Yeah. So the first couple releases I had were just on Bandcamp, just kind of put them out there. Those were more acoustic, just acoustic and vocals. These ones, I learned a lot about production in the last couple of years, so I got carried away with that, and used lots of drum samples and sound effect samples and stuff like that to try to fill in the rest of the spectrum.
Right. So in the album that you're producing, it's entirely self-produced, right? From conceiving the songs, writing the music, to doing the engineering and.
Yeah, I was very stubborn, and I wanted to do every little bit I could. Yeah, just to figure it all out the first time.
It's not a matter of exerting creative control.
Could be. Yeah. Might be a little bit of that. At least for this time. Okay. I'm happy to open it up for the next project.
Okay.
Maybe a little bit more.
Yeah. Problem with that is, of course, that if you're getting somebody to do the engineering or the mixing for you, you have to, 1, trust them, and 2, pay them. So.
That's true. Those are 2 big things. That was freeing to be able to, sit down and do it all with no cost, really, right? Time is a big cost. So,
and equipment. What sort of stuff do you have in a studio to your recording?
Yeah, that's where I'm lucky, because my dad's a musician, was a musician, is a musician. So he has an old microphone, an old AKG microphone that just fits my voice well. I'm lucky for that. Yeah. And I use Logic Pro, small little interface system. Okay. Nothing really fancy. His catalog of plugins and stuff has come in hugely handy. Yeah.
So you've got all the tools there to make a good, well-produced album.
Yeah, and having my dad around to listen and say, like, oh, I think this needs that, or that might need that, a little bit of that.
So you do have a recording engineer.
Yeah, a little bit of a peeks in every once in a while, and exactly.
Okay, excellent. It's always good to have some feedback, isn't it?
Of course, yeah.
So when you're producing, you've released just the one, no headlights.
Just 2, actually. Just a couple weeks ago, I just released Calling Cards, which is just more of an acoustic one. I'm going to play that.
Well, we don't have that in our digital library.
I will get that to you.
We played No Headlights a few weeks back.
Yeah.
So that was.
I heard that. That was great. It was exciting.
Oh, you heard that?
I was. Yeah, I
you
heard
were the listener. Excellent. So you said you have something else that's released?
Yeah, I have one song called Calling Cards. That's a little more stripped back, just acoustic, a little bit of sound effects stuff in the background, a bit of piano. But that kind of brought it back to what I started with just the acoustic stuff.
You play piano too?
It was just like a sampled piano. I did start with piano when I was younger, actually. Yeah.
I think that piano might be the fundamental instrument for.
I'd agree with that.
Everything.
Yeah.
Goes on the piano, and then can transcribe, can reorchestrate that for just about any other thing.
That's true. Yeah, it's a good one to start with. It's all laid out in front of you. It's hard to miss.
Yeah. You can see what you're doing when you're playing piano. You can look down at the keys.
It's true. What are they doing with this?
I know.
It's facing the wrong way.
Can you perform the new?
Absolutely. Yeah.
That'd be great.
All right. This is called Calling Cards.
Jake Feeney at CKMS Community Connections.
What kind of woman are you, babe? What kind of blood's coursing through those veins? Do I call the same evening or morning instead? Well, I find your patience is over my head. And I'm wondering just who you are. We've only shared a few words so far. Must be the girl who come to break this heart. Give Giving eyes like old calling cards. I'd like to spend some more time, get to know you, only enough so we're both never lonely. The weather now is saying, block every way in, holding me down before this flood comes and turns me red-handed. And I'm wondering what makes you cry, even though many have lost this fight. Must be the girl come to teach me right. Hell, you're probably just wasting time. What a sweet line, you say you like a poet. I'm sitting on my roof just to prove I can rhyme. As far as this heart goes, I might never come close to Dylan or Matson or anyone else. Still I'm wondering just who you are. We've only shared a few moments so far. Must be the girl come to break her heart. Giving eyes like old calling cards.
Jake Feeney in the studio at CKMS. That's sad. It's a little bit sad.
It is a little bit sad.
Yeah.
Sometimes I have a hard time writing a happy song, I would say. I think that happy songs are harder to write. I think that...
Really?
I don't know. I think, I've always felt that. I know some other musicians that would agree with that, but then, there's some that probably have a hard time writing a sad song.
I suppose. Have you had a hard life to draw on for experience?
No. I don't know. I think it's just a release. Gather all those maybe sad feelings or tougher emotions, and it's a way to express them, and that's how I've found it.
Yeah, I suppose it's better than moping around. If you can get it out by writing the music and performing the music.
Absolutely. I've never found anything more therapeutic than, just picking up the guitar. That's always, and when I found, like I said, I played piano before, and when I really got into guitar, it was a big breakthrough kind of, epiphany thing.
You didn't get the same kind of relaxation playing piano?
No, I think I was probably too young too. Something about songwriting on a guitar is just kind of felt very natural and comforting.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. You've got a whole album out now, or you'll have a whole album out soon, but you've got, you've written 10 songs, performed 10 songs.
Yeah.
Possibly more that aren't ready for release yet.
That's right. Yeah. I would say maybe in total, probably written about 40 or 50.
Really?
Maybe in total. Yeah.
Comes easy to you then, does it?
No.
No?
No. I'd say melodies come a little bit easier. Melodies and guitar parts.
Okay.
I have probably 150 guitar parts, but the lyrics are always a little bit harder to come by.
Okay.
I think I'm a little much of a perfectionist on those kind of things. So I'll hear something or I'll write something, and a day later or an hour later, I'll say, no.
It wasn't right?
No, it wasn't right.
And I guess you can't ever get it out of your head either, can you? You can put the guitar down, but you can't get the music out of your head.
Definitely not. Yeah. No matter where I am, I see a sign on the road or a name of a restaurant, and I think like, that could be something, and that could be a lyric, or could turn that into something.
And what do you do when that happens? You're driving along, and you get struck by inspiration.
Yeah.
can you remember that for, the time when you can actually sit down and make this permanent, or
Yeah,
do you need
voice
to
memo.
stop right then?
I have had that moment a few times. Voice memos are my savior. Absolutely.
Okay.
I have way too many and way too many unlabeled. I have to always go through and listen and be like, which one was this? Oh, I like that.
And I'm going, oh, note to self.
Yeah, it's so many of those.
Okay. And when you're doing the actual composition, does a song come to you entirely formed, or do you have to actually do some song smithing at it to force it into the thing you want it to be?
I love that expression. Definitely song smithing. More of that than there has been a few times where a song kind of fell out of me, but
Okay.
um,
I've heard that happens,
Yeah.
The song takes control, and
Yeah.
you're just the conduit for getting it out.
that's right. And you can never initiate that. It's just something that will happen. Yeah, it happened one time with a song that I wrote called Growing Pains. That's one of my older songs now, but I still like to play it live.
Okay.
I think it resonated with people, and that was one of those times where it was like a 15-minute thing, and maybe I had some of the guitar part, and then the lyrics all just came at once.
Really?
Yeah.
But usually you have to work hard at the lyrics to make them fit the music, or do you alter the music to fit the lyrics that you come up with?
I'd say more often it's I have a guitar part, and then one day I'll think of a melody that they say, oh, maybe that will work over that part, and I go to the guitar and it does or it doesn't. Usually I have a chorus or a verse idea that stays in my head, and then the harder part is finding the rest, filling in the rest.
You find that the one song you're working on occupies your entire mind, or can you work on multiple things?
I would say one at a time.
One at a time?
Yeah. If I'm really in a song, it's just the one.
Right.
I don't have any patience for the other ones.
And so when you're in that moment, the moment of crafting music, can you still play? Can you still perform for other people? Or does that get in the way?
No, I would say it's almost like taking a break from writing, performing. I find them so different. They use different parts of me. So, I've had that actually where maybe I was really in the production state of mind when I was producing this last album. When I had a performance, it was a little bit like, oh, I forgot about this part of it all.
Yeah. So you come back to it, and does that make you want to change what you had come up with originally? Or is it permanently cast in stone? This is the song. That's how it is, and it will never change.
Oh, there's so much of the changing.
Really?
It's gone through so many changes. I could have probably been finished like months ago, but I really wanted to take my time and make sure it was where it was at a place that I felt, proud of and happy with. And I don't listen and I say, oh, I don't like that. I should have done this better. So every time that happened, I went back and changed it.
So Jake, the recording engineer, says, hey, Jake, musician, you've got to change this. And you go back to record some more before you assemble it again.
Definitely. So many conversations with myself.
Time-consuming.
It is. Yes, very time. It's this last project has taken up a lot of time, but I think it's finally. I don't even think I know it's finally at a place that I'm happy with. Yeah.
But you're still trickling out the songs one at a time.
Just these two, and then I will put the rest out.
All at once.
Yeah.
All right. Looking forward to that.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Got something else? You said you had this one song that a while ago that you're still performing.
Yeah, I was thinking I'll play that one. Yeah, I wasn't actually planning on, but the conversation brought it up. I'd like to.
All right. Please do. Jake Feeney on CKMS Community Connections.
Thank you. Sometimes the ground you're on ends up caving in. That's when you feel it all. harder than it's ever been. Remember, one day you will be looking back and you will see, even though it hurts today, that these are all just growing pains. These are all just growing pains. Take a deep, deep breath now and put on your favorite song. Know that in time you'll heal, and time doesn't take too long. Remember, one day you will be looking back and you will see, even though it hurts today, these are all just growing pains. These are all just growing pains. Remember, one day you will be looking back and you will see, even though it hurts today, these are all just growing pains. These are all just growing pains. These are all just growing pains.
Jake Feeney.
Thank you.
That's nice. I like your guitar technique.
Thank you very
the
much.
finger picking.
Yeah, that specific type, with the thumb, the bouncing thumb, I learned actually just recently that it's called Travis picking.
Okay.
I didn't know that. I think Merle Travis is the originator of that.
All right.
I learned it from a Swedish artist named The Tallest Man on Earth, or Christian Mattsson.
Okay.
And he, most of his songs are in that pattern. He's got an amazing sense of like melody and a bit of a grating voice, but once you get used to it, he's just amazing. So yeah,
that's the instrument, right?
Right. Yeah. And he introduced me to that style of picking, and I remember learning one of his songs, and then that was it. Half of my songs ended up being like that.
Right.
I had to almost tone it down. Like, okay, I don't want every song to have that type of picking.
Yeah. It's nice. It's melodic. There's so much going on when you're doing that.
Yeah.
So you said you're bouncing your thumb.
Right. So the bass, or the thumb, kind of provides the bass. And then the other fingers kind of add up the melody. So thumb there. Yeah, something like that.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Oh, it's just, 6 strings is already 5 more than I can handle. So,
Yeah.
This is pretty incredible.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah. And are you now writing songs with an eye to using that picking technique?
Not so much. Maybe when I first discovered it, I wanted to add more of those. It's usually just an instinct. Like when I pick up the guitar and I'm not really aiming to do anything, I end up just doing that picking pattern.
Okay.
And then maybe I'm, upside down on the couch and I find something that works and I like it. And then I'm like, oh, of course I'm using that picking pattern.
So you said it's fairly recent that you've learned that you've.
Yeah, maybe in the last 3 years or so.
Okay.
Yeah.
What were you doing before that?
Just the strumming, the classic strumming. Definitely was inspired by John Mayer early on, and he used a slapping technique, kind of used the thumb as a percussive instrument.
Okay.
So I do have another song I'm going to play that actually does involve that. I got a little bit maybe just kind of sick of hearing that slapping
All right.
sound, but there's also been I've been using it for so long that I kind of figured out a way to, do it without annoying myself.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
kind of alter it a little bit so it's a little easier on the ears, a little less aggressive and obnoxious.
When you're slapping, you're actually slapping the strings for that?
Yeah, you kind of hit the bass bottom strings with the thumb.
Okay. And I've seen people use the guitar as a percussion instrument,
Right.
They'll
Drumming on the side.
drumming on the side, slapping the body. I've seen guitar bodies just worn away by people using the body, the soundboard,
Right.
to drum as they're playing.
It seems like now that I've seen people do it, it seems like, of course, why not use all of it?
Yeah.
I haven't really gotten into that too much.
No.
Not those kind of extreme
Okay.
techniques, but I love watching it. I admire it.
Yeah, so the Travis picking, Will Travis, is known as a country musician.
Yeah.
I wouldn't classify your music as country music.
Right.
It's modern folk
Right.
folk music. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people are starting to feel like genre might be dead or fading.
Genre has become awfully difficult.
Right.
It's
I
like-
always have a hard time
Yeah.
when somebody asks, what kind of music do you play? That's one of the hardest questions.
It's
Still
when
don't
I'm-
really know how to
when
answer
I'm
it.
classifying music for a digital library, if the artists themselves haven't provided me with some kind of clue as to what it is,
Right.
it becomes really difficult to categorize it.
Yeah.
And so, it's required. The Digital Music Library has
Mhm.
a category for genre, so I feel obligated to fill that in.
Right. Even still, submitting music to, the newer streaming services,
Right.
you have to provide a genre.
Right,
Yeah.
right. And if you have misclassified a particular song in genre, something that you might consider folk music, somebody else says, oh, that's country. Does that interfere with how you present the song?
It can. I think it might interfere with how I just perceive it, how I think of it going forward, or maybe if I'm playing at a certain spot that I wouldn't want to include like a country sounding song, then maybe I leave it off. But I try to stay a little bit distant from that because I think it's more. It definitely comes in handy when categorizing and like I said, submitting stuff. But when you're listening, I don't think many people are thinking, "Oh, I like this song because it's this genre." They either like the song or they don't.
I know there are people who say it's country music. I'll never listen to that.
That's true.
So, if
Anything
you get
but country.
misclassified, then exactly.
That's a whole population.
Yeah. Do you write for your audience, or do you just write for Jake?
Oh yeah, just for Jake. I think if I catch myself writing for the audience, then I know I'm doomed from the beginning.
Yeah.
It just doesn't really work out the same.
Yeah.
I do have some songs that I've put on the back burner just because I feel like I was maybe writing to the audience more, or to a audience that I've created in my head.
Right.
Right.
And then when you're out performing,
Yeah.
do you change how you play the music, how you present it to the audience?
Sometimes I try to use covers for that.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'll stick to my guns with my original stuff, and then depending on the room or the type of audience, I'll throw in some covers. Usually to contrast the slower,
Right.
maybe not slower, but melancholy nature of my songs.
Right. So you draw on somebody else's melodies to change the mood for the audience.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And, everybody likes to sing along if they know the song. Sometimes it's a case of being so obsessed with the song that I just need to play it.
Oh,
That happens
okay.
too.
Just get it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's another way of getting out. That's when I post stuff online, like cover wise like that. It's usually that. It's usually that I can't get it out of my head. I need to
play it.
get it out. Yeah.
When is there much demand for the type of music that you're playing, the finger picking, melancholy folk music?
It's a good question.
There's a genre for you. Finger picking, melancholy folk
That's
music.
good. Yeah, it's long. I don't know. I think I would want to stay away from playing what there's a demand for. Just
Okay.
I know that sounds, a little
Maybe
played
there's
out,
a
but
maybe there's a niche demand for it. There's some
Yeah.
folk clubs in the area that would love that kind of stuff.
definitely.
But it's a select audience. It's
Right.
not mainstream.
Yeah, and definitely when I'm playing acoustically here, the folk sound comes out more. But when I'm producing what I've been working on, that kind of fills in other spaces. A little more alternative, even indie rock. Like the first one I played, No Headlights. That one was produced more with like a full band sound. You call that indie alternative, if I
Okay.
were to classify it.
Okay.
That's probably where I'm leaning toward.
Right. I've got it classified here as alternative indie rock and Canadian content.
There you go.
So,
That's perfect.
Yeah. I think I probably got that from you.
Oh, good. Okay. Yeah, that's what I would have said if I was asked for a genre.
Okay. Okay. So, you have something else to play for us? And
Yeah.
I want to ask you some more questions, but
Sure.
I don't want to interfere with the music.
No worries.
Jake Feeney on CKMS Community Connections.
I've seen it in photographs when you're laughing. I swear I've seen it. Won't take you to the past. No. You say it was hell come through. Easy to tell on you. Must have just missed you by a minute. I've never seen you out so late. No. You take all of your sorrows, you send them deeper down. You say you're feeling lost and you don't know how. Oh, now we used to flow. We don't even get high anymore. Oh, now we used to flow. I guess we're losing our right to. Guess we're losing our right to. It's been a long time, and I've seen it from the outside. Never had a middle. It was the whole thing all at once. You take and bury, I hang mine out to dry. You say you're feeling lost and you don't know why. Oh, now we used to flow. We don't even get high anymore. Oh, now we used to flow. Guess we're losing our right to. Guess we're losing our right. We used to flow, yeah. We used to flow, yeah. Maybe this is one I have to let slide. Give them it all. find. We used to flow, yeah, 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 yeah. We used to flow, yeah, 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 yeah. We used to flow, yeah, yeah. We used to flow, yeah, yeah.
Listening to CKMS Community Connections. My name is Bob Jonkman, and his name is Jake Feeney.
Thank you very much, Bob.
That was nice. That was the alternate style of guitar playing there, right?
Right, yeah, that one's got a little more, maybe even R&B feel to it, or blues, a little bit of R&B
Yeah.
hidden in there somewhere.
Yeah, I can tell. It's
Yeah.
still melancholy, though.
Yeah.
What's
the deal?
What's the deal? Yes.
Yeah, it's still the same feeling. Like it's I don't know. I've tried writing happier songs.
Yeah.
Maybe they just don't feel as authentic.
Okay.
I think when I'm
You don't seem like a melancholy person to me. You know?
yeah, I'd say maybe when I feel happy, I like to just feel that and
Mhm.
be in those moments.
Yeah.
Maybe when not, that's when I take to guitar and
Right.
writing songs. Yeah, I love listening to happy music, although I do love listening to sad music too. But yeah, I don't know.
How do the audiences appreciate what you're playing? Is it when you're at a venue? Is it play something we know, or is it carry on what you're playing?
I've definitely heard, well, maybe not directly from an audience, but people in my life have said, like, you play an upbeat one, like play a happy song, and
Mhm.
it really grinds my gears.
Yeah,
not that I don't understand where they're coming from, but I just, I don't find, especially if somebody else is telling me to do it, I don't want to do it.
No.
But I find it's better to be authentic with my music, especially because that's what I feel most passionate about in terms of like my skills and abilities. So I don't want to, compromise that just to play an upbeat song. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
What sort of venues have you been playing at?
Basically anywhere that'll have me. Anywhere in Toronto. Some notable ones. I did play at the El Mocambo before it closed. It was just about to be reopened, and then the state of things delayed it again. But I played there. That was really cool. I remember I played a bit of a Stevie Ray Vaughan cover. I didn't mention that. Definitely was inspired by blues artists too.
Okay, yeah.
But I remember standing there and saying, I can't believe this is where he stood and played this song. And yeah, that was cool. I play at Free Times Cafe. That's probably my most played venue.
Okay.
Played there a bunch of times.
It's an interesting name.
It's an Israeli restaurant with a music room in the back. They had an open mic that I went to, and they asked me back to play like one of the series shows. Okay. And I've been playing there ever since.
So that's a music lovers venue. Right?
Yeah,
like people
definitely
come there to listen to the music.
There, for sure. Right. And they have songwriting like workshops back there sometimes. Yeah.
Okay. I have to stick a link to them in the show notes.
Free Times Cafe. Yeah. Great. Any other ones?
Just wondering how it is when you're in, say, a small restaurant or cafe, and you're up there on stage playing, and people aren't really paying attention to the music. And you've poured a lot of work into your craft and into your musicianship, and people aren't paying attention.
Well, thanks for saying that. Yeah, definitely have felt that before.
Yeah.
Sometimes I use it as just an opportunity to almost practice live. Get
experiment a bit.
Yeah,
see what
definitely
gets their attention.
Exactly, and sometimes that's when I'll throw in a cover if I don't think that people are paying attention enough. But also, even if just one person is listening, I think that's enough.
Yeah,
that's enough. It's enough for me. If I can tell they're really listening, that's what really gets me excited to perform. Yeah.
Good. That's what I'm here for,
Yeah.
to listen to the music and to spread it far and wide.
Absolutely, yeah. You do great things over here.
So how do you go about getting the gigs at these venues? Obviously, if it's an open mic, you can just drop in.
Right. Sometimes it's just simply emailing or calling, or a lot of the time, because Toronto is so populated with musicians from every type of genre. Somebody will ask, they'll need another act on their bill, so they'll ask me. That happens a fair bit more than probably asking the venue directly.
Okay.
But yeah, I try to say yes to every gig. So somebody asks me and I've never met, those are my favorite. I get to meet new musicians, meet their friends and fans, and maybe see a new venue. I love playing at venues I haven't played at before. I have a list of venues, little check marks beside them.
And you have the circuit that you go around?
Yeah. Like as I was saying about how the music scene is so eclectic in Toronto, it's I feel like there are so many circuits, and I feel that I maybe weave in and out of a few different ones. Sometimes I actually just recently opened for a funk rock band.
Funk.
Yeah. They're from Ottawa. Shout out to the Lionels. They're great.
All right.
I've played with them a few times, and they've got definitely a heavier rock sound, a lot of soul, but definitely funk. And for some reason, they feel that I fit as an opener, and I love it. Yeah.
Get some variety into the entire
Definitely.
length of the show. Excellent.
Yeah.
Do you perform strictly acoustically when you're doing live performances?
More often, I do have played with like a bassist and drummer a few times.
Okay.
Nothing more than that. Yeah, just mostly just acoustic or electric.
How does that work when you're playing with other musicians? Do you write out arrangements and hand them the sheet music and say, "Here, practice this"?
Sometimes, I'll give them chords. Usually, we just practice, and the guys that I've played with are, they've got the great ear, so they can usually just follow along, pick it up pretty quickly.
Okay.
I like to. It's a good experiment, giving kind of direction. I don't like to say that I would be the band leader, but I guess I am in that case, and that's fun to kind of direct how I hear the song with a band, especially if it's one that I don't usually play with a band.
What's it like hearing other people play your music?
It's pretty cool. It's cool. It is really cool having somebody harmonize my lyrics, or when I go to practice and they're already, picking around on one of my songs. I'm like, hey, that's mine. I know that one. That's pretty exciting.
Yeah. Do you ever write for others?
Yes, I've done that a bit. Maybe not as much as I'd like to in the future. I think that's definitely something I want to explore more. But
there's people who've written hundreds of songs and never actually produced their own album.
Yeah. My dad is a fantastic songwriter. He is more. I'd say he's more in the more in the songwriter category than I would be. But I do want to do that. I do think that that's a good way to express creativity in a different way. A little less pressure on yourself. Yeah.
Being a songwriter is different from being a singer, songwriter, performer, though.
Right.
Because now you're having to shop out your music.
The whole package, everything. Yeah.
Do you have somebody that does promotion for you? Have you thought of hiring a promotion company, perhaps?
I have thought about it. I am not there yet. Definitely something to look into. I like doing it myself, though, as I do all the other stuff too.
I find people that I've talked to before say that it's not musical. Going out, finding venues, finding people that will hire you to play music is business.
It does feel very far from the music. It really does. I've noticed that more and more. Even some parts of the production almost end up feeling that way. Maybe not the production, but the editing and the because that's so time consuming. And
Yeah.
once you've heard one blip of a verse 20 times in a row, you kind of forget what you're doing or what the song sounded like.
Yeah.
But yeah, with promotion and the pressure to feel like you always need to be posting and talking about your music, and I do feel that sometimes, but I also like to think that it's not everything, and really it comes down to a song.
And then
That's
writing the song, performing the song,
yeah,
and then all the other stuff is
yeah,
makes that part worthwhile.
right,
Right, yeah.
exactly. Yeah, that's how I like to look at it.
Yeah. If you didn't have the outlets of performing, of recording, you probably still make the music.
Right.
Yeah.
For sure I would, yeah. I did when I was a little kid. I would use my dad's computer and record songs when my voice was 3 octaves higher.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any of that worth keeping? Maybe as
Just a memento.
The Jake Feeney archives.
Yeah. Show a select few those ones.
Yeah. Is that a full-time gig for you, music?
It is right now. I have a couple side things going on, but I'm trying to make it more a full-time gig, trying to maximize the revenue streams, as they say. There's a lot of different things you can do, but it takes a lot of work and a lot of focus. Good organizational skills too.
I suppose.
Still working on
I
it.
suppose you can't just disappear into the recording studio and not get out there and do the performances anymore.
Right. And there's songwriting is another way. Teaching music, which I haven't really done too much, but that's something I may venture into.
Okay.
Teaching guitar, maybe.
Yeah. And your dad, you said he was a prolific songwriter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Producer and singer. He was in a band called Joel Feeney and the Western Front. Oh. And then it was just the front. And then he was just Joel Feeney.
Okay.
And he released albums, and in more recent years, in the 2000s, he got more into producing. He produced song and wrote for Leanne Rimes, a country singer.
Oh, okay.
It was a pretty successful song. It's a great song.
Excellent.
And CCMA Producer of the Year, 2 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow, excellent.
He's a pro.
Okay, so at some point we're going to have to get Joel Feeney into the studio.
Yeah, come on
do
out.
this all over again.
I think he's listening, so he's probably blushing at that. Yeah.
Okay. Well, come on over anytime. Let me know, and we'll stick you on the microphone.
I'll try to convince him.
Got something else for us?
Yeah. Oh, actually, don't keep it. This song's called Jane.
Jane, what do you see me at? It's 5 a.m. and I've been stuck on love series. Use me, I'm elastic for you now. Sinking into ecstasy for a moment. Maybe it's not all it seems, but how can you know when blinded out? Maybe it's not in my way, but how can you trust one thing when it's something else I feel right? When it's something else I feel right. When it's up in here I will shine. And it's hard to tell before someone else knows. You've got a hold on me, but I don't. No, I don't. You've got a hold on me.
thorn to a rose? And who says every rose stays true to its color? Who could fix it? I'm a probable mind. May not ever shed this, it's my cover. Maybe it's not all it seems, but how can you know when blinded out? Maybe it's not my way, but how can you trust one thing when it's something else I feel right? When it's something else I feel right. When it's up in the air I will shine. And it's hard to tell for someone else. No, you've got to hold on to me, but I don't. No, I don't. And you've got to hold on to me. Oh, Jane, what do you see me in? It's been late for hours, I am spent.
Song of Unrequited Love.
That's a confusing one. Not quite. More a relationship with habits, I would say. That's a hard one to describe. That's definitely a hard one to describe. I kind of use the maybe unrequited love as a metaphor for that, or as like a conduit for that kind of thing, but not necessarily about that. It's a hard one to describe.
I obviously didn't listen deep enough into it
No.
to catch that.
Yeah, I do like to write lyrics, especially in this last project, that are more up for interpretation than to say this one's about this time when I felt this. I like to have everybody have their own interpretation. A lot of songs I love, I like that I don't know what they wrote it about.
So when we buy the album, you need to listen to it multiple times to dig down through those layers.
Yeah, it's a multi-listener for sure.
Right. So coming out when?
I don't have a firm date, but definitely in the next 2 months.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how does one go about acquiring it?
It will be on all the streaming services, Apple Music, Spotify, all those things.
Bandcamp,
SoundCloud. I'll probably upload it to YouTube as well. Maybe certain songs. If I get together some music videos, or at least lyric videos, something interesting like that, I'll put it on
recording
YouTube.
Engineer and video producer too.
Yeah, that's the next step. Not sure if I'm making physical copies this time, but maybe if I go on a little tour, or at least an Ontario tour, I'll bring some physicals along.
I know I go someplace and I like the music. I want to buy something, there's that token of patronage that
I hear you. Yeah.
So I may not need the CD player. I don't think I've stuck a CD player or a CD in a CD player in years.
It's holding it and seeing it and opening it.
And then listen to the streaming audio as I'm looking at the case.
Right. I've definitely done that before, actually. Vinyls too. That's something I'd love one day too. Those are very expensive to get made. I think minimum you got to have like 500.
Really?
Yeah, because the machine will only, something like that.
Okay. How do people get a hold of you? Somebody has heard the show and wants to get you onto their stage?
Well, I guess email would be a good place to
Okay.
start. Jake Feeney Music at gmail.com.
All right.
Any of the social media things
Mhm.
I'm on, so I would respond to you there too.
Okay. On Facebook,
Yeah, Facebook,
Instagram, you said?
and Instagram. Yeah,
Okay.
those are the two that I'm most reachable at. Yeah,
All right. So reach out, jakefeeneymusic@gmail.com.
that's right.
Right. Good. You got 5 minutes left. You have
Cool.
something left in you to
Yeah, I
play?
do. I got one more.
All right.
Thank you very much for having me.
Yeah,
It's really nice.
great. It's been absolutely great. You've been listening to CKMS Community Connections. Jake Feeney is in the studio performing live. He is about to finish off with...
It's called The Hall. When you go, I'm gone. If you lights could guide me home, straight through to the bone, and I'm struck by all you hold. Anxious love, what's above when this is here? Hopefully come to clean these minds we flee. And I tell how you are by walking down the hall. The floor creaks in the silent side. You breathe out the tears in your side. Anxious love, what's above when this is here? Hopefully come to clean these minds we flee. Anxious love, choose your door, and you better understand you still have a ways to go. Anxious love, better turn right back and choose your door. You better understand we still have a ways to go.
Jake Feeney on CKMS Community Connections. Thank you very much, Jake, for coming into the studio. It's been great.
Thank you, Bob. I appreciate you having me.
Yeah. So, any upcoming gigs that you want to tell us about?
I am playing in Toronto. If all goes as planned, I'm playing at the Hole in the Wall. It's a little bar. It's literally a hole in the wall in Junction, in west end of Toronto. Yeah, I'm playing with my friend Tristan. He's going to back me up on bass. And yeah, we're going to play for a few hours on the 27th. So next Friday.
27th, the Hole in the Wall in Toronto.
That's right.
Go see Jake Feeney play and listen and maybe purchase an album.
Yeah.
Going to take us out with some instrumental stuff?
Sure.
And then I will talk over your music.
Absolutely.
In total disappreciation of the craft.
No, that's awesome.
You've been listening to CKMS Community Connections here on CKMS FM 102.7 Radio Waterloo. We've had Jake Feeney in the studio. CKMS Community Connections is produced by Radio Waterloo and sponsored by Radio Waterloo. Executive producer is Jennifer Strong. Associate producers are Dylan Bravener, James Jordan, and Jeff Stager. You can hear the second episode of CKMS Community Connections on Fridays at 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. My name is Bob Jonkman. Let's listen to Jake Feeney take us to the top of the hour.
This is CKMS 102.7 FM in Waterloo Region, radiowaterloo.ca on the web.